Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Rom-Com Love podcast. We are so delighted and thrilled to have with us Anne Pirvu and Christopher Giroux with us today. Yay! Welcome, you two.
Thanks
Good
for
job,
having us.
So
Brennan.
beautiful to be here today.
It
The
is,
puns begin.
yes, we are just so excited and delighted to meet you both. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're excited to chat with you both.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Wait.
Absolutely. Well, Catherine and I just want to start out with congratulating both of you on your precious Metal Productions. Amazing.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. That means the world.
Can you
yes, such an
really
honor.
quick tell us how you came up with the name?
Sure.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a little bit precious.
Okay.
He's a little bit metal, like actually loves,
Yeah.
metal music and has a background in horror film. So
Mhm.
it just works for us.
Love it. Love it.
Us.
Absolutely. You need both.
Yeah.
Well, Catherine and I, we just had the pleasure to watch your newest film, Be My Love, which was such a delight. Absolutely adored it. So we would just love to hear the story of what it was like to work together on this film, and you got to star in it and write it. And Christopher, you remind me, I'm sorry, produced it, directed it.
Yeah, I
Wrote it.
produced it alongside Anne and our producing partners Brigitte and Andrew, and I also co-wrote it with Anne and directed as well. So a couple different hats for the both of us for sure.
Wonderful. Well, how was that for you two? Tell us the story.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was great. I think it came together, really organically. Anne and I had worked in the TV movie space for quite some time. We're very big cheerleaders of the space. We're a big fan of the genre and kind of what the genre means to ourselves and to our fans. We met and really fell in love making a movie called Learning to Love Again many years ago, about six years ago.
It works for
Though
us.
yeah, so I produced that, and Anne starred in that film as well, and so we've really been together kind of ever since that film, and so we've been trying to find something that we wanted to kind of do together in kind of our own, under our own umbrella, and kind of something that we could kind of champion, and kind of came up with this story, and we were trying to find something that was unique to the genre, and trying to find something that hadn't really been explored a lot, and really kind of came to this idea of doing something with bees and honey.
Yes.
Yeah. It's honestly extremely special to get to work with someone that's as detail oriented as Chris. He's very, very intuitive about the space, but very well versed in the space. And we complement each other really well. So it's really fun to create together. And sometimes we have to learn how to turn it off. Sometimes dinner table conversations tend to blend from like really, really interesting ideas to like, okay, we got to shut it off. But it's so wonderful to have a bit of like a trust that's there, and things moved very quickly for us because of that. I think with this film, it was just building on each other's ideas, and it got really exciting to explore something that hasn't been explored, like Chris was saying, a subject matter that hadn't been explored before. We love the bees. Bees are so important to life. Bees are so wonderful. So like, and symbols of love themselves. So it was kind of second nature to dive right in and try to do something meaningful for them.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Oh,
like you
that's
said, oh, sorry, Brennan.
oh go no, go ahead, Catherine.
I was gonna say, honey is a term of endearment,
Of
so you got
course.
the love
Yeah.
there, and I watched a little bit of you've talked with many of our friends in the last few weeks promoting this, which is so
Mhm.
great and exciting. So we're trying to figure out how to be a little bit different in our conversation to
Sure.
keep it
I
fresh
love
for you
that.
too.
Yeah.
But I did hear that one of the reasons that with the idea of this is when you were exploring the movies that the only one that you had seen was that Andrew Walker had done a movie
Hmm.
about bees.
Yeah, and Andrew's actually a dear friend of ours.
Hmm.
So we love, that he's always a trailblazer in the space. And
Hmm.
Hallmark does a lot of that. Hallmark likes to explore like different unexplored spaces, Um,
Yeah.
but but honestly, we did a bit of a deep dive when the idea came about because we also care very deeply about um unexplored territory, and just bringing something fresh to the equation. And when we realized that like there really aren't any titles that genuinely focus on beekeeping, it was really, really awesome.
Hmm.
Because there was so much to learn for us in the process, so much to explore while making the movie, the process of making honey, learning about bees themselves, obviously, how to craft a beautiful romantic story in and of itself is always really important. So it was exciting. It truly was exciting. And I have a feeling there might be an avalanche of bee things coming our way in the genre now because everybody seems
Yes.
to love bees.
Yeah.
Yes, it's I love bees. I always have truly, and I collect little bee things, and my name starts with the letter B. So and we live in Minnesota, and so there actually are quite a lot of bee like we have an arboretum here, and
Sure.
there's a whole
Oh,
a whole bee farm basically at the
Hmm.
arboretum.
Hmm.
At our state fair, there's a whole bee uh
exhibit or
exhibit. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes.
Colony, everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I personally have always appreciated, and I always, when I buy my honey, I always try to get it from somewhere local.
Locally
For
sourced.
sure.
So always
Yeah,
appreciate.
it's been fun, since we kind of started to kind of make the film and do research with the film, we were always so amazed with how many people had
yeah,
a connection outside of the movie.
Hmm.
yeah.
Even when we were on set filming, we made a joke that like, we had like a person who was just coming out to help for the day. And we were just chatting. We're like, oh, everybody has like connection with honey. And he was like anybody? And I was like, like almost everybody has a connection with honey. And he's like, what about that guy? And just pointed to a person. And I was like, do you have a connection with honey? He's like, yeah, my uncle's a beekeeper. And it was like,
Oh,
oh, okay. And it
Oh,
was just like point to a random person. And so
Yeah,
that's
our
been really
production
fun for us.
designer, right? Our production designer, her mom, like that was our bee farm location,
Hmm.
like it was
oh,
shocking. And
okay.
and she brought it up. She went, "Oh, actually my mom and my dad, they work with bees and they make honey." So we were like, I mean, we love
So,
you anyway, but the fact that you're bringing a bee farm to the equation, this is
Yeah.
great stuff.
oh,
Great
well,
job, Sarah.
I'm gonna say my memory of bees was I got stung in the back of my grandma's van, and
Oh,
ever since then they have not been my favorite.
Sure.
However, I have learned, not ironically, but I think it's those things that just kind of pop up on the
Yeah.
algorithm. One day, this lady who goes in and takes bees from places that they don't belong
I
to
know
bring
exactly
them.
that the influencer or the person who does it
Yes,
online and films it.
in there's somebody in Florida that does it, and
Yeah.
she's so gentle. 99% of the time, she's not wearing anything, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I just sat on my chair in the couch of the van
Yeah.
and got stung. And
well,
when
I'll,
you learn it
yeah,
through their eyes, you learn so much.
Yeah. Yeah, they
it's
really don't
amazing.
want to hurt you or cause any trouble,
Exactly.
and they really do kind of have their own plan, and if
Hmm.
I feel like we all have a story that we were stung as a child or things like that, especially after seeing being traumatized watching My Girl as a child. There's always
Oh,
this negativity around bees, and so we really wanted to kind of show them as in a positive light throughout the film.
And
So
yeah.
and to be honest with you, both being producers on the film, it was a lot of responsibility on our shoulders to make sure that everyone felt comfortable filming. Not only
Mhm.
did we want to be safe, we had a medic, we had EpiPens, we had conversations with everyone, preparing them for what's to come. We did have suits, right?
Mhm.
But the
yeah,
thing that was remarkable, and I mean this from someone who also got stung as a child because I stuck my finger where I shouldn't have. You know what I mean? It was my bad. But coming into this experience, no, I honestly wasn't worried, but I was so eager to just explore and to put myself out there, like because it was so new and no one had ever done it. I really just wanted to embrace the experience. And not only did I not need a suit, but they would just like almost like dance around us. I don't know how to explain it, but like they were never in our faces, like when we were at the Hive filming the actual bee scenes, they would just sort of like give us some space. And every once in a while I joked because Robin is a jokester, but they would just land during a scene like on my shoulder or somewhere. And then of course Chris was about ready to cut, and then Robin was just making it part of the dialogue. Like, come on, Frank, like we're doing a scene here. What are you doing? Like so, and then they would just gently go, like they would just like, so it was so healing, but not so much healing because I wasn't that worried, but it was just so beautiful to watch them adapt to us as we were genuinely trying to make the whole experience holistic and adapt to them. At least we didn't want to disturb their space or anything. And it was awesome.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, it sounds like you all did such a wonderful job respecting them. And I really believe that creatures, they sense that. They can sense when
Yeah.
people are respectful and caring and not a threat. So well done. That's
Me too.
amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, during the
I
process,
so appreciate
we found
that.
that bees remember like human faces and human scents. So, myself and Anne and a lot of our production team were able to kind of spend some time with the bees before filming. So we kind of just sat around the bees during prep and allowed them to kind of land on us and kind of get to know us a little bit. And so when we went in to film with them, they kind of, knew us a little bit. So it was part of the prep there for sure.
They wanted to be in the
so
movie
nice.
too. They realized, I want to star in this. Let's go.
Absolutely.
They really did. And, like they're responsible for creating, like pollinating like 75% of the food that we eat on a regular basis in the world, right? So when you think about the impact that bees have in our daily life, actually, it's hard to think about that because you're like, it's probably everywhere. It's literally, pretty much everything that we ever see is like touched by a beautiful little bee. But I'm just so thrilled that we get to have that conversation, that we get to talk about them, and we get to they get to be the stars because they do steal the show. They're so beautiful.
And they're so cute, little honeybees. They're all fuzzy and they're just, yeah.
Next time I come over, Brennan, you're going to have a colony in your house, won't you?
Don't tempt me, girl.
So, guys, I'm not joking. We're having a special screening ahead of our Canadian premiere that's coming up in May. And we've partnered up with Hammer Hives, they're called. This amazing little bee farm that's local here. And what they're doing is they're bringing a colony to the screening, to the theater.
Oh, wow.
The hive is encased in plexiglass and it's coming to the theater. It's so cool.
So we wanted to give the bees an opportunity to see the movie as well. So we'll have bees in attendance at the advanced screening.
Honest feedback. That's what we're all about here, folks.
You weren't going to settle at thousands, millions. You're going to go for billions of viewers.
Of course, we want them all. We want all the eyeballs. You
had to bring the bees in.
Yeah, absolutely.
We see, we're there. We love it. If we were Canada, we'd be right there with you.
I'd love to have you. We'll let you know how it goes, though, because I'm so curious. Like, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see them in a movie theater at the movie.
Oh my gosh! Yes, please post, and post. Sure. We will definitely be following.
Yeah.
Well, you did have some humans that start along.
We did.
With the bees.
We had amazing.
Had a great human team.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what, we've never really had the opportunity to talk with people a lot that have done things from conception all the way to afterwards. So can we ask some logistical questions?
Of course, absolutely.
So let's talk about the casting process then. As somebody who's writing and you aren't casting your own movie, how do you work in partnership with the casting agency to bring in? And we are assuming you had a lot of your friends with this. And how does all of that work in a process?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll give the floor to our amazing
sure,
director because
absolutely.
he
We
has
had an
great
amazing
ideas.
casting director who's Larissa Mayer, and her amazing team, who I've had the pleasure and Anne had the pleasure of working with for many years. So she was really, a big part of the team. As we were writing it, since this film came together a little differently than most traditional movies, is that we kind of made the film and tried to go find a home for it, which obviously found an amazing home at GAC and Super Channel in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to kind of go into it with kind of writing parts and catering parts to friends. I think that when we were kind of crafting the film, we kind of saw some of these kind of characters come to life, not that we had approached those actors and actresses at the time yet, but as we were sitting around our kitchen table, we were like, oh, Emily is such a dear friend, and
Yeah.
I'd known her for such a long time, and things like that. And so there was just we were kind of crafting everyone to kind of fit those roles. I would say the only person that the role wasn't necessarily kind of written for was our kind of our little girl Marcy, where we had kind of a really fun traditional kind of casting where Anne read with her, and we kind of did kind of a bit of a vibe check. She had done some video game acting, but hadn't really done a movie yet, and but we just loved her energy and
Yeah.
audition, and
Mm-hmm.
had this maturity, yet this kind of fun energy where she's very excitable in the film, and has a lot of energy in the film, and having her and Anne kind of had that back and forth during the audition process was great. But most of the actors, in one way or another, we had worked with in the past, and I produced a film that Robin Dunn directed called Making Sense of Love, that starred Kat Burrell. That oddly enough, we went to camera 4 years ago yesterday. So, when those things pop up on Facebook. So
Oh,
Robin and
fun.
I have, been in each other's lives for a while. And the first feature film I ever produced about 14 years ago had Romaine as one of the lead actors. And so kind of just one by one, it was kind of just kind of written for our friends who we kind of knew. We're big fans of the genre, and
Mm-hmm.
we're big fans of what a lot of the performers, and very protective of the space. So though we have a long list of friends who would want to do the movie, we really wanted to find people who wanted to do the movie but was really right for the space and for the genre, and who understood
Mm-hmm.
the tone and the sensibility. Were very protective of that. And so we had a tremendous human cast as well as B cast that really brought that energy to the set every day, and it was phenomenal because you had so much people that had such vast experiences in TV movies and in
Mm-hmm.
rom-coms. Even Neil and Brigitte and all these people who had just incredible resumes and filmography.
Mm-hmm.
So it was amazing to have all those actors in some of those scenes, with all that legacy behind them.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think we got a bit lucky too, you guys. I'll be honest, because it did come together very quickly, and I think that sometimes it's so valuable to have a pre-existing relationship with these wonderful humans that you want
Mhm.
to work with. But the
Mm-hmm.
fact that everyone was available and was able to do it was an even bigger miracle, So I think we got lucky in that sense. And the bees, they said, bring it on, folks, bring on a great human cast because we ain't just like, playing with anybody.
They have high
It was
standards.
fun.
Yeah.
The high standards.
way, way to go, Anne, as the lead of that. So awesome job, Anne.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. The bees approved. I hope.
Well,
It's
Robin,
so cool.
Robin is definitely a favorite of Brennan's, and so she was very, very excited to see that you were co-starring with him.
Yeah, he's
Joy.
phenomenal. He's like a Swiss Army knife in the
Yeah.
space. He writes, he directs, he acts. His wife is an amazing actress. He's got so many different, just when you think there's something else, creatively. And I think he has such an amazing sensibility when it comes to blending the TV movie space with more of a traditional rom-com space, where both him and Anne have a little bit more levity to them, and have a little bit more fun. And I think the two of them together are a phenomenal matchup, you know. So
It was so fun. And we had that pre-existing relationship that made it very comfortable to like it was effortless. You know, you just walk in and everybody kind of knew each other. So we were able to dive in a little deeper quicker than if you were just kind of introducing yourself right off the bat. And you're like,
Yeah.
I think that was a bit of the secret sauce behind everything, because everyone was just such a good human, so well-meaning. I feel like everyone was kind of like, shockingly, here's the best part about all of this, because I'm going to spill a little secret from Chris's first meeting with Robin about this project, because I was kind of like, passing by and they were having the best chat. And this being the first project that Chris and I had written together, we were, I wouldn't say nervous because we believe in the work, but we just had never shared a script with anyone that was a true professional in the space, that we were saying like, we really want you to be a part of this. And not only was Robin like so positive about the script, which was a huge compliment, just getting us started, right? Because I don't know, like, I think it's good. Do you think it's good? Right? There's always, a question mark. And he was so complimentary and so kind and so excited about the fact that we were learning about bees in a movie, but it wasn't obvious, like we had tried to organically insert bee facts into the script so that I love movies where you get to take away little things as much as, and so, but we had to do that in a way that wasn't like, hey, and now I'm teaching you that bees remember faces. And, or the bee dance was one of my other favorites because, they actually do vibrate. Like they do this really cool dance when they communicate with each other. And Chris and I got to watch this amazing documentary. I don't know if you got a chance to see it over there for you guys. It's on Netflix here in Canada.
It's on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I keep saying Netflix. It's called The Secrets of Bees.
I've heard of that. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So
if you get a chance, they show you the whole dance and everything. So we wanted to incorporate a lot of that, into it too. So it was so fun. Like it really worked out.
It did. And it came off the screen, especially with you and Robin, and it did come off so naturally. That's something that I noticed right away with the two of you was, oh my gosh, it right away, like there was no awkwardness, like it just was, it flowed well, just the chemistry was there, and then it just continued. So that totally showed and was proven. So
nice.
Amazing.
I so appreciate that. And he's very easy on the eyes. I don't know. It was, what I'm saying, Brennan?
Yes. We notice a handsome man when we see one. Absolutely. We just are appreciating the humans. Yes.
Of course.
So now you
Absolutely.
mentioned when you originally had this conversation too with Andrew and Brigitte. Now, how did you guys work? And she came in then, and then he came on as the project too. We noticed he was cinematography. What exactly is the difference between that and a director? We're very curious.
Yeah, absolutely. So Brigitte and Andrew have been dear friends of mine for many years, and I've been an admirer of how they do movies internally and their structure and different genres and stuff that they dabble in and stuff as well. And as Anne and I were looking towards this next chapter of working together, we actually went to have lunch with them as husband and wife who work together, as a husband and wife who work together. And so really came to them as more as of like
fans.
Hey, how is this
how do you stay married?
And how do you stop talking about it at dinner, and how do it kind of came for more business couple advice. And I would say by the end of that lunch we were saying we have to make a movie together. Like we have to figure this out, because we had
there was such synergy
and things like that. So it was really an amazing kind of way it kind of all came together. And we had other husband and wife couples work on set. Our production designer and art director just got engaged. And so there was a lot of that behind the scenes as well as, in front of the scenes and things like that. And Andrew directs as well. Just like Brigitte also acts. And so there was a lot of different hats that they wear and stuff as well, which is why we wanted to chat with them. So for this project, Anne and I had kind of the idea of the film, and we were chatting and decided to, engage with them to see if they wanted to come on board, and they were, thrilled to do this with us. And so, from the get-go, we knew we wanted to have Brigitte in the film and have her and
Oh
Anne,
yeah.
have those scenes together. And so as, Brooklyn Myers was kind of being created, we kind of knew that was going to be played by Brigitte. And Andrew came on as the cinematographer as well as the producer, and he really, the cinematographer and the director kind of work together as the director kind of comes up with the tone of the film and the stage direction of how the actors kind of move and interact with each other, and the cinematographer or director of photography, worry about the frame and the lights and how the camera moves, with the director's kind of vision. Whether the camera's on a tripod or is it kind of moving around the room. And so the director of photography, the director of photography or cinematographer kind of oversees the technical elements of how that shot is achieved. And so, especially with, the way, the way that I love the frame, I always love those little twinkle lights. And so making sure that, Andrew had those kind of, framed in the shot and things like that, making kind of my shot list come to be. So it was great working with them in so many different roles, but also having that flexibility that they had done movies in the space as well. So it created such synergy for us,
Yeah. And they were so supportive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when you understand, like as couples, when you work together, you understand some of the hurdles or the things that you need to negotiate and how to do it. And it was so cool to surround ourselves with that type of energy. It was very unique. We didn't intend it right off the bat, but it sort of kept happening to us.
Yeah.
It was so lovely.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of talking with both of them. I used to do the behind the scenes for Suspenders Unbuttoned.
Cool.
So of course, so yeah, I used to do their tech because before they started doing recordings, they used to go live, and so then I would be their background tech person.
Nice.
And then I moved over and started doing Rom-Com trivia, and so had the pleasure to talk with them in different aspects. And there is absolutely in my world that I've met in this until I've met you guys, not a nicer couple who just takes you in and just like embraces you, who, any questions, absolutely. What do you want to know the answer for? Like an invite anytime you want to come up and learn about it, let us know. And if we're filming, we'll have you join us on set. And it was just kind of an odd, and of course we had the connection at that point because Kevin McGarry had done a few of their movies.
Yeah.
And then when him and Kayla did oh my gosh, My Grown-Up Christmas List, then it was like they had shot like the kiss that all McGarrys talk about to this day on screen. And so it was like Andrew was then all of a sudden everybody's, I don't know, biggest McGarry's cheerleader.
Yeah.
But just to get to know them has been so delightful. And one of the things that I love about that they were doing in their movies, Sarah now has it, but they had that traveling sweater. So because Bees was your guys' first movie, you should maybe try to add a little element of bees in as much as you can as kind of your
love it.
Easter egg.
We would love it. We would love to add a bee Easter egg, if you will, throughout.
Absolutely. It was just something that we always knew was them. It was a running joke of this and I've worn the magic sweater. It fits everybody. And I'm like, it
fits all of us. It happens to fit all of us and fit Kevin, and it's amazing. Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's amazing.
So legendary.
Maybe be a little safe with a bee pin or something along those lines.
Absolutely.
We just need to keep a bee alive and just pass a little
just
bee.
Pass it around. It's yours to raise now.
Yeah, right. All right. Keep it alive.
Yeah.
Class when you're in elementary school.
Yeah.
Right. Bring it back.
You can star in our movie or help us, but here's your pet for the film.
Here's your pet. Here's your pet. Here's your responsibility. But it's funny that that's half the fun of working with people who really love the space and have such an understanding for it and have such a passion for it that that their body of work has created, inside jokes. Like
Yeah.
that's the dream of having that longevity and having that,
Mhm.
that accuracy within the genre to say, our fans, our community, the audience themselves, has picked up on fun things like sweaters. I think that's such
Mhm.
so unique to this type of genre. You don't get that in, say, a traditional drama. You know what I mean? A lot of people aren't going and analyzing those types of movies and experiencing those movies in the same way that this audience engages
Totally.
with film, which is so
Mhm.
exciting.
I
Absolutely.
just love it.
Yeah, we do too. And we think it's just so cool that so many of you are such a big friend group and know
Mm-hmm.
each other and have those relationships. And it's neat for us to learn and make the connections of, oh, this person knows this person and they've worked together and they've worked
Yeah,
together. And it makes it almost more fun for us to watch because
sure,
then it's almost kind of like we're watching like a friend group. We're
sure.
watching like
Oh,
real life friends make movies together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so awesome that you all are such a family. We love it.
It couldn't
so
be
cool.
closer to the truth. There's so much love and care that goes into these films, and that's the whole point of them. The whole
Mhm.
point of them is to have that emotion of I always say that these films are one step in the direction of a fantasy, in the sense
Mhm.
that you want to live there. You
Mhm.
want to live in that town. You want to live in a place where the mayor waves at you and says good morning. You want to
Yes.
know where and live in a place where your neighbor comes over with a Christmas gift. You want to
Mhm.
Yeah.
live in a cul-de-sac where everybody dresses up their house. You
And
want
knows
that.
each other.
Yes.
You want that feeling. And so these films are almost that fantasy. And what a better way to kind of create that environment than to have that environment on set. I've done about 60 feature films, and I would say about 35 of them are with the same wardrobe woman.
Mhm.
And her name is Tina, and she's fantastic. And she was on this film and has done 30 odd other movies with me. And so it's so cool when you get to have that closeness with another collaborator and get to kind of create this world. And we are having so much fun while we're shooting the movie. And I think that when you watch these films, you can see the films that they had a lot of fun, and then you could see the films that felt more
Agreed.
like going to work. And I think
Yeah.
that it's great because I feel like the genre, there's room for everybody. There's a spectrum of budget. There's a different performers, union, non-union, now verticals. There's all these different things within the space that make it so much fun. And so it's nice to hear that our fun behind the scenes resonates.
Yeah. And to be honest, we're pretty lucky. I think we've been around enough where we've come across the people whose heart and soul
Hmm.
goes into these movies, right? The ones that
Mhm.
continue to make more and more and more. There's a precision that you have to learn about the genre and to play within the space. There are expectations. And it's amazing that, you do it long enough and you do get to work with and be inspired by. And now with our own company, choose to surround ourselves with
Hmm.
people who, have that same mindset about it as we do. And it's magic. It's just so beautiful to think
Hmm.
about, to come to work and to then get to talk about with our fun
Hmm.
friends and new friends like you. It's just so cool.
So how do you well, thank you. And I love that you're doing with everything was beautiful as a with the B. That's awesome. So
Purpose.
that's perfect though. So how do you balance trying to find those? I mean, because there is a familiarity with rom-coms, why we all love them.
Hmm.
There's always your happy ending, and if you work on your balance of your rom versus your com, but like there's so many stories in this genre. As you said, you were lucky enough to find a home. So many of these get made and don't have a home,
Hmm.
and that I actually learned that from Andrew, and that was
Hmm.
kind of like how I can't fathom making a movie and not knowing where it goes,
Yeah.
because I'm a meeting planner, so I have my checklist of what I'm expected to do from my boss. And
Yeah.
that's why we love this creative outlet for ourselves. But
Of course.
how do you work your balance of trying to find something fresh in this
Hmm.
industry, in order to kind of have something that will be that next thing that
Hmm.
people are looking for?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic question, and you're
Right.
right in the sense of some films don't find traditional homes. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I think that they get out there somehow or another, but they don't find maybe a traditional home like a broadcaster or something like that. I think that there's two ways these movies typically get made. That a broadcaster or a production company is pushing that movie forward because they know it's going to end up here,
Mhm.
like Crossroads Springs. It took a lot of different players, but they knew it was going to end up at GAC in the US. They knew it was going to end up in Super Channel in Canada. And so
Mhm.
when you're making a movie like we did that doesn't have a home at the beginning, you really have to rely on making a good movie that
Good
feels
movie.
authentic in the space. You know what I mean? And
A
they're
good story.
a good
Yeah.
story with people that are telling that story that the audience feels the most familiar with. And so that was really a part of when we were writing this film and coming up with this film, not knowing where the film would go. I
Mhm.
think that we were thinking about all the fans. Who do they want to see in the film, and who do they want to see interact with each other in the film, and who have we not seen paired up in a film, and try to put some of that thought into kind of making it, and kind of playing mix and match with Crossroads Springs and other shows, and trying to see characters who haven't necessarily interacted with each other. And I think that was so cool for this movie because you have so many actors who have had such a history in doing these films, and now to
Mhm.
see them all kind of in one film was really exciting for us. And so no, there was no broadcaster attached when we were originally making the film. Our true north star was the fan base behind the genre,
Mhm.
knowing that if we make a good enough film and we find that hook that feels fresh, and we
Mhm.
we you know we find the actors that the audience really wants to see, and that, and a little bit of wishing upon a star, and it all kind of
Yeah.
lines for us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
There is an element of luck that is involved, and trying to do the best that you possibly can. I honestly believe that, any kind of acting is rooted in technique, it's rooted in the craft. And
Mhm.
so as I get well lit here from my window, sorry, it just got really bright all of a sudden. Woo!
The
You're
Speaking
glowing.
truth.
came.
She's speaking truth. I think that, as long as you can tell a good story at the
Mhm.
heart of it, and as long as you follow your arcs, and everything comes together in the most holistic way, um, then it'll work out somehow. Um, you have to
Well,
you have to believe.
well, absolutely. And I never had thought about it the fresh way of people who are popular and combining them in different ways. And you're seeing that, you get Andrew Walker and Nikki DeLoach, who are
yeah,
just genuinely lovely couple called the Hallmark married couple
of
because of
course.
they've done so much together.
Mhm.
And so you get, and even with them, you've got that fan base that's immediately attached because it's a
Mhm.
Nikki and Andrew project,
Of course.
and then they're trying to find different ways of being fresh in their storytelling so that
Of
then they bring in
course.
the mysteries between them. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I guess I hadn't thought about it originally in that fresh way, more because love is always going to be love. It's kind of like we were
Of
talking,
course.
we're talking time travel a lot because of all the different shows that going back to the
Yeah.
1800s. And at the heart of it, we're all the same. It's the same story. It's
Of
just
course.
Yeah.
how you change the
I
narrative
think
a
that
little bit.
that's honestly what's so special. I'm such like a nerd or a geek for so many things. Outside of just TV movies, which I'm very geeky about now. But I've been a geek about Marvel comics and
Hmm.
horror movies and different things over the years. You Star Wars and things like that. I think what's so exciting with like a Marvel movie is seeing Thor and Captain America in the same movie, and so that was really exciting for us when you say, oh, you get this team up and they're doing this show, and so that really was when we were writing it was like, what Avengers in the TV world
Can
can
we
we,
assemble?
let's get Robin Dunn's Iron Man, let's get, and let's pull them all into a movie and have fun with them and stuff like that. And I think that, we're so protective of the genre because I know it means so much to so many people. And so we try to always find a very authentic way into that, whether it's the story or with the cast. And, we're always having conversations, whether it was in the edit or in the script stage or on set, about the audience and about the audience expectations and about there's things that the audience really wants to see in every movie, and there's things that the audience is comfortable with change or enhancement or elevation. But you can't have the kiss before the second commercial break. You know what I mean? There's different things that you've got to
We disagree.
We're fine with just a meet. You're beautiful. I'm beautiful. All right. Cool.
Right in there. Yeah. Listen, I did a movie called Christmas Island with Andrew Walker.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. It was one of the highlights of my career to make that movie. And it was so authentically, it was shot in Canada in the East Coast, playing the East Coast for the East Coast. And so even that lobster trap Christmas tree, that's the real one the town of Lunenburg uses. And so we had to work with the heritage building to make sure that we could use the authentic one in the film. We wanted to showcase the region, but working with Andrew on that film, which was the first time that we've worked together, and he was so incredible with even just the people who were found out we were filming and came to visit set. He was signing autographs and meeting people in parking lots and was really involved with people taking photos. He saw this woman taking a photo and then kind of came over and said, well, you can't get like a good photo why don't I come and take your photo? And it was really hilarious. There was this, elderly couple probably in their 70s, and she was down there taking a picture of Andrew Walker, and he came and said, well, we'll all do a photo. And she was like, no, I don't want my husband in it, just you. And so and he was like, okay, just us then. Ooh, and just went with it and was having fun with it. And, it just showed, what a people person he is. And it really spoke to, why he's got such an amazing fan base, because he's so incredible with and giving with his time with all of his fans, and really understands the sensibility of it. And we know when we had two kisses in that film. And, I remember on the day we were chatting about, do we do this? Do we not do this? And the director was involved and whatever. And I remember when Andrew gave the blessing, we all were like, okay, I think, Andrew's been around. He's done this enough. If he thinks two's okay, we're okay with two too, So, but it takes a leader like Andrew to kind of give that blessing,
We are always okay with more kisses. Just everywhere. We're fine with that.
There you go.
Noted.
We call ourselves the After Dark girlies. I have to move. I was kind of the running joke as we're Hallmark After Dark because we were like, we watch Bridgerton too. We know what level we're watching when we're watching Hallmark. But like so much of it, we actually just for When Hope Calls, we were just talking with Sarah Fisher that that their relationship, her and Nick Bateman, is so much their eye looks right now. And and Sydney Busby has her hand holding, or no, hand on the shoulder is first base. That's
there
her
you
new.
Go.
So Brendan and I
get that.
With the eye looks.
Yeah.
But I just I think that's the other thing too. And we've talked with Peter Benson, who said, we're all grown-ups. Nobody wants a little fishy kiss. We know what a kiss should be looking like.
I remember when we did that Andrew Walker end kiss with Rachel in front of the plane. It was quite the steamy kiss, and we're like, no, I don't think too steamy. No, it's good. It's good. And then like People magazine, it was like the steamiest kiss of all time. And we're like, no, what? No.
That is a huge compliment.
Material.
Honestly, both of the kisses in that movie was steamy. So well done.
Thank
Yes,
you.
get people talking. It's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well then that asks the question of directing a kiss as the first time rom-com. What is the perfect like what is the magic behind a perfect rom-com kiss?
Yeah, I think it is really the combination of the entire will they won't they, you know. And I think there's so much that hinges on that kiss, or kisses, may I say, maybe kisses, you know. And I think that, you know, it's throughout the whole movie, people are rooting for these couple to kind of fall in love, you know. And I say that a lot of a more of a traditional rom-com starring Julia Roberts, you know, at the end you might say, you know, I didn't know if she was going to get together. There was some moments there, but I'm glad she did, and I had some doubt, but I'm happy. And you know, I think you walk out of that movie saying, you know, I've seen love differently, you know. And I think with these types of movies, it's a little different, because I think at the majority of them, 99.9% of them, you know they're going to get together at the end. And so you really want to go on this journey with them and experience the eye looks, the shoulder touches, the will they kiss now? Will they, you know, be together forever? And I think there's so many little things that a performer can do that isn't maybe in the script or maybe in the actual notes, but they're pulling that chemistry out. They're looking a little bit too longer when someone's doing something. There's a side eye checking them out. And so I think that kiss is really that audience's moment where they can say they did it, they got together. And so it's a really important part of the equation of the film and of the story, because it's really the combination of your A story, your B story. Everything has kind of built to this point, and everything else that has happened in this movie, they've saved the whatever, they've found the cookie recipe, they will go back in time, whatever the case may be. But it all builds to that moment. So it's really not necessarily what goes into it, but what stakes are there for the kiss, you know, throughout it. And I think that, you know, you really want to ensure that everyone feels that, even that audience feels that they're really there witnessing true love kind of blossom in front of them.
Yeah. And you can't rush it, to be honest with you. Like, from the other side of it, like, any of these very physical things as a performer, it's a choreographed dance that you do. Man, I got really dark now.
I know, you need a shade.
I was like, whoa, it's getting real deep here, guys. No, but it is you have to take your time. And I think that when you think about real life, right? Like, I had an amazing mentor tell me once that once your lips touch, it's over. Like, it's done. Like, you have kissed. Yeah. It's the lead up to the kiss that is the chemistry, that is the connection between two characters. Even when you know they're about to do it, you don't just want to see, like, you know, you don't want it to be over. Like, I don't want it to be over. You don't want it to be over. It's like savoring, like, you know, eating a delicious ice cream. Like, you know, you don't want to like shove it all down your face. You really want to take your time. And there's so many different things, like Chris was saying, that you can do. And there's a lot of trust that is involved. That, you know, it's hilarious, because I did a TV series called Rain once, and I had multiple lovers, you know, and the first day on set usually is like your intimate, hey, hi, nice to meet you. We're in bed together and now we're making out. That almost always happens without fail, you know, but what's nice is to be able to have the courage to craft it, to take your time, to do those little micro moments that we were talking about, you know, with hands, with looks, with grace, you know, and closeness. And just as you come together, you know, the kiss is like the final cherry on the cake. It's about the connection, really. And like Chris was saying, letting that evolve, you know? So it is quite the dance. It doesn't just like, you know, it's a lot to think about while you're doing it.
Yeah. I think that's something, Anne, that you and Robin did really well in this movie because you two had so many beautiful moments together where physically you were close. You know, you're close at the oh gosh, I'm sorry. It's not the beehive, but where all the bees are, you know,
Mhm.
with the
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the beehive. And then even with the honey, you know, like when he was
When
showing
we're
people,
making honey inside.
Yeah.
yeah, you know, he's right behind you. And then there was that beautiful scene where you two are on the couch together and
Hmm.
you're kind of turned toward him and he like has his arm out and it's
Hmm.
like, ooh, like these two are getting close. And then you have that beautiful dance scene. So
Hmm.
we always appreciate those moments where you see, you know, the two leads like physically getting closer together because then
Hmm.
at the end, like you said, it's like, oh my gosh, the kiss like absolutely makes sense. Like so
Of
many
course.
moments they were inching
Totally.
closer and closer together. Yeah.
No, I appreciate you picking up on those little details. It's so beautiful to get a chance to talk to you about this because we do give this a lot of thought, you know, and
Mhm.
both and with Chris and Robin and I, like we have many conversations and we make sure that every scene does give you that little, you
Yeah.
know, bit of energy and closeness, you know. So it's such a joy that it translates, you know, when you
Mhm.
get to be in a conversation like this where it you know, the hard work pays off kind of thing, you
Mhm.
know. But I personally just love the magic of how that comes together, you know.
Mhm.
There's just something to be said about being open to the process and being a romantic at heart, you know. It's just so joyful when you just, oh,
I know.
Catherine got it. She
Yes.
felt
Yep.
it.
Yes. Which we are absolutely right, Catherine.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. I had what I thought was going to be the one that wasn't the one, and so then you're just waiting for the second. And I think the other thing too in these storytelling is I love. I'm 47, and
Mhm.
so it we don't really we're getting stories that are telling stories of people having their love happen not in their 20s, and I'm
Mhm.
so thankful for that because
Mhm.
I did a tech school. I really wasn't meeting anybody while I was doing my
Sure.
office administration courses,
Sure.
Yep.
and
Yeah.
then I was a preschool teacher, so I worked with other women, and
Right.
so just kind of like I haven't really had that up, never really worked in my
Love
favor. I always figured being an event planner, I'd meet some guy at a hotel in hotel sales, and that I'd be able to go travel the world. Didn't happen.
Sounds like that Hallmark movie's writing itself.
Happen yet,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
Catherine, not
waiting.
yet.
So
See,
yeah.
Brennan knows, you know, I'm so with you, and I'm a huge believer that, you know, we have different chapters in our lives and we work on ourselves in different ways as we
Mhm.
progress, and it'll find you when you least expect it. At
Yeah.
least that's been my experience, you know, and
Yeah.
and I honest to God did not expect it. And it's just wonderful to get inspiration. That's why I think I'm such a huge fan of the romance genre because it
Hmm.
keeps me activated it keeps me in the right mindset to be open for love,
Yes. And I
you
and
know?
I absolutely agree, and that's what it's changed for me too, is that it isn't too late. And I think that
Never.
well, we can say that, but you know how a lot depending on where how you grew up, like if you
Sure.
like I'm gonna be honest, I have friends who went to a Bible college, and if you didn't meet your spouse in Bible college, that was
Mhm.
they
Oh,
figured their life was over, kind of
Sure.
a thing.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
there's just how it's how we're all different in different ways perceived by where we grew up,
Absolutely.
etc. And so
Absolutely.
that's what's been so fun is, like to see like for Andrew Walker to have so much longevity because he is my
Mhm.
age. And to see him, still here and that they for a while they were giving him younger ladies to kind of more introduce different
Sure.
people into the industry or into the Hallmark
Mhm.
world, and now they're really doing the matchup, and that's just refreshing for me.
Of course.
So
Absolutely.
so I just love where we can go with this,
Of
and
course.
to me the sky is the limit of how we can tell those
100%.
stories.
Yeah,
So can't wait to
Couldn't
absolutely.
see.
agree more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always
Absolutely, girlfriend.
It's always so fun because just like you two, us fans, we also have our wish list of who we want to see paired. You know,
Sure,
Yeah.
we
of
talk about
course.
that in our group chats, like, oh, this person would be so good. I hope we see this person. So when we actually see people together that's on our wish list, it's like, oh my goodness, it's like Christmas.
They
Can't wait.
It's
listened.
really exciting. It's really exciting. And honestly, like when I would read, comic books as a kid, and I would flip and Spider-Man entered the chat, I was thrilled. And so
Hmm.
that's so exciting for a creator to be aware of that. And that the audience wants to see the team up and the hey, maybe this person has been so much fun but hasn't had the right recognition in the genre, or hasn't been utilized in the right way within the genre, or and those kind of team ups and things can be so much fun for the audience and so much fun for us, because we
For
know
sure.
that they bring these different sensibilities, and so to see them team up, I think it's amazing. I'm a huge fan of Marcus Rosner, and I love the cast members and his career. And I had the pleasure of working with him last year on a project, and so it's so cool to kind of see different people and how the casting works in so many other films. So yeah.
Hmm.
So exciting.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Remember how I promised you 40 minutes? We're gonna have to do a part two.
Yes, please.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah.
Next list of questions. Um, but let's just
Yeah,
quickly
don't worry.
end on some like actual rom-com questions. So what is
Sure.
a rom-com that you guys can watch over and over again?
Oh, Love Actually.
Yeah, Love Actually is
Oh,
mine for
We
sure.
do watch it every year.
good choice.
It's sincerely one of my all-time favorite movies. And so a few years ago there was a theatrical screening of it. They came back and played it in theaters, and Anne took me for my birthday. And I think that it's a rom-com that it has so much romance, it has so much comedy, it's so much more than that. And I think every time I watch the film, not because I can just put it on mute and probably do all the words, but I get something new out of that film every time I watch it. So
Oh,
I would definitely do, sure.
well, that's fun
Yeah,
after
what
so
about
many times to still get new things out of it.
Absolutely. I've seen the
Yeah.
movie 100% 20 times, probably more, but I would say bare minimum 20. And yeah, I still get something new, and it's something out of it that I never noticed or didn't pick up on before. So yeah, it's fun.
Scene.
yeah, totally. I'm curious what yours is, Catherine or Brennan.
So many. For me, and I think I say this in every podcast because it is my ultimate favorite,
Sure.
is While You Were Sleeping.
Sure.
I and I don't get I love Bill Pullman and Sandra Bullock together, but it was that balance of comedy, it was the leaning,
Yeah.
and the surrounding cast, the supporting cast of that
Yeah,
family. And then like I wanted to be in a family where they cared about each other and put themselves in with shenanigans. I
Sure.
was like, I'm like, can I have a family like that? That'd be awesome. We're German and we're very stoic.
Sure.
True.
I
Someday I'd like
love
to be
it.
Italian or Greek so that I'd have
Sure.
my meddling family.
Yeah.
That's mine.
And
Nice.
I'm very familiar with the meddling. Yeah, we got it. We got that
Yeah,
down.
we always want what you don't have, probably, or
Sure.
the opposite, where you're like, I'd be okay if they didn't meddle as much.
I
Nice. It'd be nice.
Mine, I would say, really, truly, I mean, any Matthew McConaughey or any Ryan
Sure.
Reynolds
Oh
movie.
yeah.
So like The Wedding Planner, or I'm gonna plug Robin here, but I love the movie Just Friends, which is the
Sure.
first movie I
Yeah.
saw Robin in.
Yeah.
And he has a small part, but he's hilarious. So
Yeah.
those two alone are ones that I could
I
just
remember working at the theater. My first job was at a movie theater, and I definitely worked when Just Friends came out, and I was definitely
oh
working at the movie theater when How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days came out. So I
oh
definitely remember those
Aw,
two opening weekends for
Yeah.
sure.
amazing. Yes. Love
so
the
good.
We're so thrilled to see them have a comeback in the theaters. We just saw, what did we just see? The Me, You, and Tuscany?
yes.
That's what
Oh,
it's called,
great.
yes.
Oh,
Great.
Yeah, and we went together, and it was kind of like, I don't think we've had a rom-com where we've been
No.
like running to the theater to see it in a
Mhm.
long time. So we were just excited that it kind
We
of
have
has
this
nostalgia.
incredible theater locally called the Playhouse. It was built in 1913, and they restored it to period with the help of a heritage fund here locally. And we're big fans of the theatrical experience. And our
It's just
movies,
so
you know,
awesome.
it's, you know, we always get TV releases, which are fantastic too because it reaches so much.
Yeah.
But you know, with this film and with our broadcasters in Canada, Super Channel, we were like, let's put it in theaters for just a little bit, you know. And so, you know, it's so cool to have that shared experience when
Yeah.
you're watching something and you're reacting to something together as a group. It's such a powerful thing, you
And
know.
the popcorn. I mean, come on.
Oh, is there
And goes for the
nothing's
popcorn.
better than true movie theater? It never
Yeah.
tastes the same at home. It's like, no,
Yeah,
I
it's
can
never
go
the
Doesn't.
and
same.
get it. Yes.
Thank you. I couldn't
No.
agree more. It's so great.
I
Yes.
don't know if I'm more proud of this or more embarrassed. Probably embarrassed, but I went to go see Super Mario with my sister's family on Friday. Not embarrassed about going to see that, but my 13-year-old nephew, he and I had a bucket and a half of large popcorn because I was
Excellent.
like, "This
Yes.
is so great! I haven't had
Yes.
buttered."
Anne's going for a refill before the opening
We
credits are done.
I
So don't
love
worry.
Unapologetically. Unapologetically. It's the best.
Same.
But yeah, we came home. It's his birthday this week, so we came home and we were supposed to spend time with my mom and go out to dinner afterwards. And nobody was hungry. And she goes, "I'm like, oh shoot, we should have brought you some popcorn home."
Yeah, just
That
put
would have been-
popcorn. You'll be fine.
Honestly, it's so good for you. Lots of fiber. Plus, you know, like I think I get so invested. Like I honestly really, really love being very present in a movie theater and in a story. So I kind of need like something, you know, just to snack on, you know, just to like keep me, you know, keep the energy going somewhere because I get really, really buzzed, you know, when I'm in it, you know.
Does your
Yes.
movie theater offer a whole bar? Ours does.
It's a whole bar.
It
Yeah,
does.
absolutely.
It does.
Yeah.
I have not taken
Yeah.
part in that. I probably would be sleeping during the movie then.
It's a dark
know.
room, so it's tough. It's tough to have a drink in a dark room, you know?
It's
Totally.
okay.
And then going to the bathroom. Like I'm always like, you know, those people that just get up in the middle of the movie. I can't do that. I'm like, I'm gonna miss important things. So like
Yeah.
that's why I kind of like to keep it low key, you know, just eat the popcorn as much as I can and,
Yes.
and just have an enjoyable experience.
Same, girl. I don't take a sip unless I absolutely have to. Like if I'm dying,
Yes. Yes.
I am not getting up. Yes.
No, don't want to miss a second, you know, like
No.
there's just no way.
Well, speaking of movies, if there was a movie that is not a rom-com classic movie like Casablanca or something along those lines that you would like to make into a rom-com or change up the story a little bit, do you have a dream, like a project that you would love to do in that?
What a good question. Chris is a film historian. Chris
Oh,
must
right.
have.
I can't wait to hear.
If there was a way to make Planet of the Apes the ultimate romance story, Chris would be all over it.
Oh, let's do it. Let's get those monkeys in love. Yes.
I think I would probably go the superhero route. You know, I think that there's so much there that could be a lot of fun. And you know, though diehard Planet of the Apes fan as Anne has revealed here publicly. But something in the superhero genre would be fun. Something in the superhero genre, I think, would be fun. And I think there's so many, even big classic movies, you know, are, you know, I had a director who said this to me many years ago, and it really stuck with me. You know, I think that if Humphrey Bogart was alive, he'd be starring in TV movies. You know, and I think that, you know, a lot of the things that we like about the TV movies have been around for 100 years in cinema. Amazing wardrobes, pretty dresses, large sets. They really speak to the films of the 30s and 40s and 50s, where you have people who are, you know, tap dancing and big sets and big costume changes and big aspirational storylines. And you know, it's you know, you think back to movies like Casablanca and stuff like that, and how similar they are to today's TV movies and things. So it's so interesting that I think the TV movie genre pulls from the feature film genre, and the feature film genre pulls from the TV movie genre in this secular way. And I think that that's why it's so interesting when you see a movie that is like, oh, it's kind of inspired by this other feature film, and so
Mhm.
it's interesting when you get to kind of play with those genres a bit, and I think that in the superhero world, or in a lot of these kind of classic movies, there's a love story in there. It's
Mhm.
usually between
Totally.
trying to save global destruction from an alien race, but there's a love story in there, and so it'd be fun to do for sure.
Or sometimes, the villain becomes the villain because he was jilted or unloved in some way, like I
Yeah.
love studying character pieces, and so like quite often the people that get hurt the most, which being in love can sometimes do, or having, or not finding that love
Mhm.
can sometimes do. So that would be interesting too. Oh, what a great question. I'm
Yeah.
like
Ooh,
I love
There's
that.
a
So many
really
film.
nice.
ideas going.
Yeah,
Yes.
there was a film that came out a few years ago that Anne and I have just loved, and it's a TV movie, but it was on Netflix, and it was called
yes,
Hot Frosty. And what I thought was so
That's
great about Hot
Frosty.
Frosty was
Yes.
that it kind of had the lore of Frosty the Snowman,
Yeah.
but it was kind of retold in this kind of TV movie kind of formula. I thought it was really fun.
Is that the
yeah, and
one?
he kept saying, yeah,
I'm sorry. Is that the one with Lacey, or am I thinking of something different?
Lacey,
Lacey, yeah,
It was
Lacey's
with
in
Lacey
it.
Chabert,
Lacey.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We kept
You-
saying to each other like, "Oh, so brilliant! The title tells you exactly what it is."
yeah,
Don't have
Like,
to
oh
guess.
my
Yeah.
god,
yeah. It's a fun one for
yes,
sure.
Oh, so fun. I'm a huge Marvel fan myself. I
Mhm.
haven't not of the comics, I have to admit, I've never read the comics, but the
Sure.
movies. And I love Captain America. He's my favorite. And I love, love, love the love story between Steve and Peggy. So
Of
that's something that
course.
I've always wanted. Like, can we just
Yeah.
get
Mm.
one movie just
yes.
about their love
I've got
story?
the shield.
Like,
I've got his shield on my wall just out of frame.
oh,
Got the
it's the
full
It's
metal.
best.
happening, Brennan.
So that's been a dream. Chris, if you can make that happen, I will
There
be
you
in
go.
the front row. Just one
Yeah.
long movie of their love story. Just
Their love story, I think, was so incredibly done in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in this iteration of it, and I
Mhm.
think the reason why was the stakes were so high.
Mhm.
You really felt for
Mm.
who Steve Rogers was throughout the process, and
Yeah,
how he became the underdog and never wanted to be the hero. He just wanted to be like Peggy's plus one, you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
I
right,
think
right.
that we talk about it all the time, like the people who should be leaders shouldn't be. A leader
Yes.
is someone who should be called to it, not something that you want to do. And you see that
Mm.
balance between
Yep.
Steve Rogers and Iron Man, where Iron Man wants to be the leader but shouldn't, and
Right.
Captain America is the leader because he doesn't want to be. And I think that he just wants to be with Peggy, but the world is at stake, and so there's a lot on the line for their relationship. And I think that the way that they crafted it, not just in his trilogy, but throughout the MCU, it really stood out as something that was really grounded in that.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited for Doctor Doom coming out. I can't
Me
wait.
too.
Yes.
Oh, wild. Yeah, it's going to be great. And a comic book that I never thought would be, because all the rights were owned by Fox and different Sony and things like that. So it's cool that everything's under one roof. So yeah, absolutely.
And it all worked out. Yeah, it's so true.
Mhm.
Okay,
Good, great
maybe.
question.
Thank you. I'm trying. I think for me, I would want It's a Wonderful Life as a rom-com, and I think just
Oh,
because it was such a, and, well, one number one, I just love the story behind it, that it actually didn't really get its footing
Till
until
many
late.
years later.
Yeah, that
mhm.
just is amazing to me. And I think, well, of course, Jimmy Stewart would have been fantastic in all of
Of
those roles.
course.
And he did his own version of comedy, but I'd love to see it not be so sad all the time. And so,
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah. I
I think
if
that's
I
a
yep.
movie that I revisit, and every time I watch it, I hope that
Oh,
a scene isn't coming. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I always hope that, like, in between viewings, it's changed,
Hmm.
and there's like
Yes.
he makes different decisions. You know what I mean? I'm always going to go in and watch it, and it's going to be different this time. You know what I mean? And
yes.
so it's a very powerful film. And it transcends Christmas movies to just great movies. And I think that
Yes.
that's an
Hmm. Yeah.
incredible one that is so hard to reshuffle because it's so great untouched, and so
Yep.
that's a great
That's a
one.
good point.
Yeah. Well, now that we've given you a long honey-do list, keeping with the honey theme,
Absolutely.
can't wait to follow up on. Do you guys have anything as we head off that you can tease that you guys are working on together, or things in the
Ooh.
processor?
Yeah, like I will say that we're working on a new idea. We can't share much
Mhm.
about it now, but I think that what has been so exciting over the last couple of months is that we have feel very empowered to continue making movies together and making movies with our friends. And we would love to do more with Brigitte and Andrew, and more with Robin and Emily, and Neil, and
Mhm.
everybody again, or work with brand new people. And I think that what this journey has given us is the ability to kind of look towards making another one, and really getting
Absolutely.
involved with what that story has to tell. And we've got a few ideas kicking around, and excited to share those as well. And Catherine, to your point earlier, the characters that we're more interested in exploring are characters who aren't experiencing puppy love in their 20s. You know what I mean? Where I think
Mhm.
that has been explored. We're more interested in exploring love stories of people of our age, and things like that. And that's what's really exciting for us, is that perhaps love after love, or those types of themes,
Mhm.
versus puppy love. You know what I mean? We want more
Right.
everlasting love,
Yeah.
with a dash more maturity in those characters. So something we're really excited to explore more in the future, for sure.
I was literally going to say the same thing. And it is amazing when you made your point, when you were talking about your personal love journey, I was like, oh, well, I'm excited. I'm drawing inspiration from you as well, because we have some
Any
really
questions,
fun
let me
things.
know. We can go through all different realms. I will say, I'll end it on this. One of the things that I think would really be fun to explore, and we talked, I can't remember, we brought this up with somebody else too who writes, I think, that we've never really seen. You've take the love that happens later in life, but that it was the lady's choice. Like
Mm-hmm.
she chose,
Of
because
course.
once again, like this little check mark of everything you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And absolutely, like I just was seeing somebody who was like, when you're always getting questions as when you get married, when are you going to give us kids,
Yeah,
from the
of
parents?
course.
God.
And then,
Yes.
and a lot of them was like, one lady in her response to one of these posts today was like, I want my kids to have those adventures before they have
Of
their
course.
children. Not that they can't do all or
Of
take them
course.
on their adventures, but
Yeah.
like everything. I think that's what I would love to have, one that the checklist wasn't hit the way that it should have been.
Of
What does that
course.
bring to our life?
Yeah.
I think would
Mm,
be a
It's a
really,
great point. It's a
yeah.
really
great point.
fun way to explore it. So
Yeah.
yeah, anytime, call me up. We'll,
There
we'll
we go.
discuss.
We'll take you up on that for sure.
It's gonna be so good, sister. It's
Yeah.
like I think
Oh,
I'm more excited about the future than I've ever been. So
Yeah.
oh, well, that makes us so happy. And we are so inspired too. Thank you for spending this time with us. This has been
Yeah.
a
Thank
delight.
you.
oh,
Thanks
Love
for
it.
having us.
You are
Really
amazing.
great.
thank you for having us. You guys are amazing. You have such a good head on your shoulders and so many sensibilities for the genre. And like, cannot wait to chat with you for future things for sure.
Oh, we
Oh,
can't wait
thank
either.
you.
Thank you so much.
And Be My Love has not aired on in Canada yet. Is that
No, it
correct?
comes
So
out May
when does that
15th in
happen?
Canada. Mhm.
May
Yeah.
15 in Canada, and we understand that it's going to be on Great American Pureflix in June, which is so exciting for us because we were expecting, like a digital release right after, and there's quite a few more screenings to go. So it's so wonderful, and we're so excited.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing. So
Well,
excited.
Awesome.
Congratulations again.
Thank you
yeah.
so
Wonderful.
much.
Thank you
Well,
Thanks
guys.
again.
thank you.